y'all. Modify your live. Is that what we're doing? Oh. Can you make sure that's right? Y'all give us a second. Oh, yeah, they on. Hello, everybody.
Just turn it around.
Are we sure?
I got it. I got it.
No, you turn.
I got it. Just
Oh,
turn it
it's
around.
on. Okay.
I told you I
Hello,
got
my loves. Hi, everyone. Well, as promised, I said I had a surprise tonight, right? Well, and guess what? Where's your phone at so I can see the intro? Y'all, please forgive me. I'm a little out of order right now. I'm trying to get everything together. I'm recording from 3 different social media networks. We are live on TikTok and we are live on Facebook. And this will be uploaded to my YouTube account, which is Nicole Draper 7709. So y'all come on over, join the family, subscribe, make sure you like and share the videos. And as I said before, everything that I'm doing is going to be, we will have fun. Yes, we will. You know, I'm going to pray. I'm going to laugh. You might find me crying, you know, and this is a place where you're going to feel comfortable to come talk about life issues, you know, the things that happen in life, you know, because life every day for people. So here we got this gentleman right here. Without further ado, I'm introducing Mr. Keith Hedgepeth. And let me tell you about him. He is a record-setting first black male employee for the 7-Eleven Corporation in the Pacific Northwest region, the director of Juvenile Detention Engagement for Community Passageways. He's a court advocate and mitigation specialist for Community Passageways. He's also a part of King County, which is out here in the Seattle area, Seattle, Washington area. That one went on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. This is one I need to keep going.
It was on photo. There we go. There it is. Right? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. So, as I was saying, that's out here in the Seattle, Washington area. He is a King County Dispute Resolution Program, and King County Youth Mediation Trainer. He's also a part of the University of Washington Behavioral Science as an MST and DBT skills case manager for the CP Fit Gun Violence Program for Community Passageways. He also, he wears many hats. He also is a part of University of Washington Behavioral Science. Okay, we said that part, MST and DBT, in case y'all didn't hear that. Skills case manager for the CP Fit Gun Violence Program for Community Passageways. He also sits on the community for the Department of Public Defense as the only non-attorney on the committee, and he has sat in many council meets at City Hall budget for justice meetings. He's done speaking engagements at Seattle University Law and University of Washington Law. He has worked with community and schools in Seattle, Federal Way, Kent, Renton, and Auburn, Washington. He has also been a part of King County Steering and Justice Community under Marcus Stubblefield and is an advocate for youth and youth adults on the dangers of drug addiction and 2-time Emmy Award winner. Okay? I'm going to clap right now for that right there. Yes. How many of y'all know some Emmy winners? Because I don't know any. I know y'all. Do y'all know some Emmy winners? We ain't talking about the people that you see on TV, but do you know them? Do you know them now? Do you know them? So I had to just clap now. I had to clap real quick now. All right, now you got to give credit where credit is due. Even the Bible tell you that, y'all. Y'all know better than that. Now, come on, now, y'all know I'm gonna talk about that now. Okay, so he also he got two Emmys, and I don't have nail one of them. How many of y'all got? Do y'all got any? Because we don't want look. Don't y'all come up in the comments trying to hate and try to make it small about him having two Emmys, whether they local, international, or whatever. This is where y'all please run them lights up. This is an African American man in your community holding some Emmys. So y'all that's watching this live and that's gonna go back on the replay, you might want to hire him for some services, or you might want to seek him out, for some counseling or some mentorship. I don't know. Pray about it. Okay. So, he's a two-time Emmy Award winner for documentaries for his work for community passageways. And last but not least, senior Olympics champion for Washington State. All right, let's give it up for T. Hedgepeth. That's it, right. All right. Okay. So let me sit this down. And let's get right into it. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank you for being a part of this interview. Thank you for giving me the honor of interviewing you. And it is truly a pleasure. Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute now, because I forgot some stuff. And he works at night as a safety de-escalation specialist for WDC for co-lead, which takes people out of homeless encampments and houses them in hotels and provide mental health and court advocacy for that. So y'all listen real carefully, because there might be somebody listening that might need this kind of help now. And I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in the bio on my in the description in my on my YouTube channel, Nicole Drake for 77 online. It won't be there until tomorrow. So anybody that's trying to look for him, I'm gonna put it in the description on how you can contact him, an email or something like that. So we're gonna leave it there. So look for it tomorrow evening by 8 p.m. on all time zones. Okay. All right. Okay. So, and so they help provide mental health and court advocacy in apartments. They provide a safe environment at all hotel sites, and they have a street team that works with drug addicts in the downtown area in Seattle and provides safety for the tourists in the downtown area. So y'all, let's give it up for my boy. Y'all holler at my boy. Yes. Praise God. Yes. Okay, so now, I need you. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Keith Alonso Hedgepeth. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I've been in Seattle since 2016.
All right. Okay, so we just gonna dive right into stuff. I just want to ask you, can you take me to a place in your life that will give my viewers a sense of why you became involved in this field of work, and what drives you to continue to do this work? Because you've been here for how long?
Since 2000, for 6 years.
Okay. But how long you been in this field of work?
For 6 years.
6
Ever
years.
since
Okay,
I
so
got off the plane.
Okay,
Yeah.
so take me to that place in your life that led you to want to get involved in this type of work.
Well, first of all, I was the youngest recorded kid in juvenile detention history in Illinois. I was in detention at 6 years old. I was a 13-time runaway, and I had an abusive stepfather, and I ended up in the first phase of the justice system, which is juvenile detention. And after that, I made it from juvenile detention to Cook County Jail to being in 5 Illinois State prisons. So I had the opportunity to be in all 3 phases of the justice system, not ever knowing that someday, when I finally got my life together, that I would be doing this work. Um, I was a drug addict for 33 years of my life. I was homeless for 12 years in the streets of Chicago. And there were periods in my life where I would like get out of an institution and try to come out and get a job and do good and before you know it, I went back to using drugs and I just repeated this process for 33 years of my life. In 2009,
Wait a minute, let me stop you there because you said, yeah, let's go back to you say you kept trying to get it right
yeah.
and you just kept repeating it. What made a difference in the last time and the times before? Why you couldn't get it right before? What was it? What was going on?
It was just my urge and my addiction to crack cocaine. I was a cocaine abuser for 33 years. I also drank and smoked weed, but I stopped drinking in 93. I stopped smoking weed in 93, but the cocaine addiction I couldn't keep. Um, but I think what made the difference is because sometimes if you have people telling you you need to do better and your family members turn their backs on you because you know doing too much and first of all I want to say that I take full accountability for my life and the way it turned out. I'm an only child. My mom died when I was 18. My father died when I was 2. And I never really had any type of structure from family. I was only out of the 18 years that I was alive with my mother. Um, I was only with my mother for like 7 or 8 years because we was always separated. I was in some sort of foster home or some other place, some institution or something, and I I didn't know anything about life. Me and my mother, when we did live together, we didn't sit down on the couch and have mother-son conversations. I would be in my room, she would be in her room, and I knew I had no concept of what love was either, because nobody in our household, I don't think I've ever heard my stepfather tell my mother or tell me that they love me. I can't even remember my mama verbally saying that she loves me. So I really had no concept of what love is. And being a 6-year-old kid running away from home, I developed a sense of survival to where it was a necessity that I had to survive because I used to get tied up crucifixion style on the bed, and my stepfather used to whip me with iron cords, and something in my head just told me when he comes in the front door, you go out the back door. And I was out in the streets at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. The police would come and find me, come bring me back home. They asked my mama, what is a 6-year-old kid doing in the streets of Chicago? And this is in the wintertime. So I'm walking around Chicago and I'm sleeping in people's hallways. I'm trying to find some place to get warm. And one night, I think I need to share this because I don't share it with a lot of people. Only my best friends and probably my two of my favorite cousins know this.
Do I use a tissue?
No,
Okay.
it's kind of touching, but I have to talk about
Is
this.
this a trigger alert? Because I gotta say if it is.
To some of y'all, it may be a trigger alert, so we just want to let y'all know that, okay? Because he's being very transparent. Transparent moment, okay?
Yeah,
Transparent moment.
I'm gonna say this as lightly as I possibly can.
No,
But
you ain't got to worry about it.
one of the nights that I was out in the street, it was this guy walked up to me, And he was like, "What you doing out here?" And I said, "I ran away from home." And he was like, "Do you need a place to stay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And like I said, I never had any warnings about stranger danger and don't go with strangers and stuff like that. And I ended up getting sexually molested inside a garage on the west side of Chicago. And
6 years old.
yeah, and what was crazy about it, I really wasn't that alarmed about it. It was just something. It was just something that happened to me. When he got done, I got up and went back outside and went and found a hallway to sleep in. And I went to school the next morning because that was the only way my mom would ever find me, because I would always go to school the next morning. And so that happened, and I never even told my mom about that. And it took me like some years, like when I was a teenager, for me to tell my best friend. And like I said, it wasn't nothing like it was traumatizing to me. It was just something that happened, just like all of the whoopings and beatings that I took from my stepfather. It was like a way of life. And from
So
what
you're basically what you're telling me is you just felt like just whatever happened to you just was supposed to happen.
well, I
Or
didn't
like
have
it's just
I didn't have enough mental adult like consciousness to try to figure out what was going on. It was something that happened, and it was like, but my only concern was I have to get away from this man.
right.
And I ended up the state stepped in, and because my teachers, when I would be in school, I couldn't sit still because my back would be bleeding from the webs from the extension cords and stuff. And one of the teachers took me in the hallway and she lifted up my shirt and she looked at my back and she was like, "Oh my God." And they called my mom, and the police was over at my house, and I ended up being separated, and I ended up going to a place called Maryville Academy in Des Plaines, Illinois. And I stayed there till from, I think I was 8 years old when I went there, and I stayed there till I was 12. So fast forwarding, a lot of ups and downs, and my story has many, many different dynamics. But I think what did it for me, the reason why I'm at where I'm at today, is because my last prison sentence was in 2009. I was living in Champaign County, in Champaign, Illinois, by the University of Illinois. And I had got out of prison in 2008. I worked, I got an apartment, I moved from Chicago to Champaign. Um, Got me a little girlfriend, got a job working down the street, and I had a relapse. And that relapse caused me to lose my job, lose my relationship. And in October of 2009, me and my girlfriend went to Walmart, and we were stealing DVDs that particular day because we had been in there like twice before, and this third time we went in. We went in, and I noticed that the security people was watching us. They was following us around the store. And she had like 10 DVDs, and she was putting them in her purse. And I said, don't take the DVDs. I said, because I see the security guys watching us. So she insisted on putting them in her purse. She was like, "We're not coming up here for nothing, and I don't care who's watching us and this and that." So I left. And she caught up with me, and by the time we got to the front door of Walmart, security bum rushed us, took us in the office. They searched me. I didn't have anything on me, and I think I have to bring out this point. I have 52 retail theft arrests in my background.
Okay.
For my
Hold on, y'all now.
yeah,
This man said he got 52
retail theft arrest in my background.
But if you've been watching from the beginning, y'all heard that long list of things, them hats that he wear. So God has been good to this man, no matter what he done been through. Okay, I just needed to point that out because I know y'all heard that long list of his intro of what he does for a living. Okay.
So when they put me in a police car way across the parking lot of Walmart and put her in a police car closest to the door, and I noticed all the police officers was talking to her, and she was a Caucasian lady. So all the police officers was talking to her, and I'm sitting in a police car handcuffed, and I'm looking, I'm like, why is all the police over there talking to her? And nobody's over there talking to me. So we ended up going to the police station. She got released on her own recognizance, and I got a 5-year sentence for 10 DVD movies that I didn't even take.
Ooh.
And
Because of racism?
no, and like I said, I have to take accountability for the part that I play in something. I was hot about it at first, but one of my cellmates, when I got to the last prison I was in, he noticed that I was real upset, and he asked me. He said, "Keith, how come you're not going to chow? You just sitting in your bed. You ain't going to eat." I said, "Nope." He said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Bro, I'm hot. I'm locked up because she got caught with them DVDs, and I got 5 years and stuff like that." And he was like, and he asked me a question, and this question still resonates with me today, and why I'm sitting in this chair doing this interview with you. He asked me, he said, "Well, what part did you play in?" And when he asked me that, truth set in, because I wasn't high anymore. I wasn't under the influence. So this is me in my real self, my live self. And when he asked me that question, I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? And then when I played the tape back, I orchestrated that whole thing. Regardless of what she did or whatever, I orchestrated that whole thing.
Because it was about intention.
Exactly. So right then and there, the light bulb went off, and I was like, accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up in this prison that I was in was one of the only 2 model prisons that are in this country. I was in a behavioral modification / drug treatment program.
Okay. What was the name of it?
Southwestern Correctional Facility in East St. Louis, Illinois.
I have a view right there.
That place and everything that I experienced there for that 5-year sentence are the reason why I got that laundry list of stuff that I've been doing ever since I've been here. So when I got out, I got released. I had 4 counselors that worked with me: Miss Johnson, Miss Miles, Miss Luke, and Miss Brown. But my favorite counselor and the counselor that really made a big impact on me was Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson had a way of teaching me stuff. And Miss Johnson was from East St. Louis, Illinois, and it's rough in East St. Louis. So she didn't care how she taught us. She didn't care nothing about our attitude or none of that. She told us, if you got an attitude, take your attitude, put it in your back pocket. Because if you want to be successful, you got to look past your little attitude and the little things that you might get upset about because you don't want to take accountability for the part that you play and the stuff that you do, which leads you to prison. And she taught me a lot. And the day before that I left, she looked at me. She called me in the office. I was the assistant senior coordinator of the orientation room at the prison, and I did a lot of stuff there. And she told me, she said, "Keith, you ain't coming back to prison." I said, "How you know that?" She said, "I know." She said you're gonna be very successful. And she had told me that, she said, "You have so much potential. And it seemed like you should be out there working with kids and doing something in the community that you destroyed." Because I destroyed I destroyed communities in Chicago. I'm responsible for a lot of businesses closing because of the theft and all the stuff that I was doing, and that sentence was the exact thing that I needed.
Now that's accountability. So what I'm hearing is, because see, I need to reiterate this. This accountability, especially when you said you ruin a whole community out there. So it's like, y'all, when we do things in life, it does not just affect us. It's a ripple effect. It affects other people. Whether you selling drugs, whether you a pimp and you are pimping a woman out, you also pimping out a whole family behind that woman. You know, we gotta get better with this. With this is the only way you're gonna be free. Like how he was saying, he kept on trying and he kept on falling back. Because the key thing was he was not ready to be held accountable. He was not, like holding himself accountable and take it, hey, listen, that's me, I did that. Like he just said. Like he just said.
Yeah, and I had this concept that life was about, well, I'm a drug addict. I'm not doing nothing to nobody else. I'm doing what I'm doing, and the reason why I'm living in the streets and all that is because of me. I'm doing this to myself. But I never got a chance to raise. I have a son and a daughter, and they're very successful now. My son is a police officer, and my daughter is an event planner. But I never got a chance to raise my kids. I destroyed neighborhoods. I, my auntie used to hand me plates of food. I come knock on her door and try to come in the house, and she'd be like, "What you want?" And I'd be like, "I want to come in." And she said, "Are you hungry?" I said, "Yeah." She would hand me a foil, tin foil plate of food out the door, and told me, "You can't come in here." And any normal person who lacks accountability would say, "Well, my family is bogus as hell. They don't love me." But by me sitting in prison at that particular time, when the light bulb started going off for me, things started coming together, and I was like, "Oh, that's the reason why my family didn't want me here. Like, that's the reason why I couldn't raise my kids." And if I look back at everything and was truthful and honest about it, all fingers pointed at me. And so when I got out in 2012, I said to God when I got ready to leave the gate, I said, "God, if you could just take that taste of cocaine away from me," because I love smoking cocaine. I smoked it for 33 years. I said, "If you can take that taste of cocaine out of my mouth and get me to a point where I'll never use it again," I said, "I promise you." And I looked up in the sky, I said, "I promise you, I would devote the rest of my life into helping kids and families and young adults." So I left prison in 2012. I went to a halfway house, and I had a relapse in 2013 because I got into this relationship with this girl who I used to hang out in the streets with. And I met her at a treatment facility, and we got together and moved.
Which is another.
Yeah, and moved into an apartment.
You can't get clean and have the boo inside.
Right, and well, that's common. That's common with people that come out of prison.
It's another addiction.
Yeah, because you think
covering up.
Yeah, you think you're missing something. And so I got into this relationship, and it didn't work. And so I had my relapse, and my best friend, one of my best friends who I was locked up with, the one that asked me the question about what part did I play, he was right there to guide me back. And he got me, I went to the south side where he was at, where he was running this other halfway house, and he got me a job working there with him. So after that, I had another relapse, and in 2014, and I I checked myself into the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Program on the near downtown in Chicago
Okay.
in 2014. And from there, I moved to North Carolina, stayed in North Carolina for a while. I joined, I was volunteering, working with this program in North Carolina. And I got a phone call from one of the guys that was in the Salvation Army with me, asking me and my best friend Steve, and we all left the Salvation Army at the same time. Reggie and Steve went to South Carolina, and I went to North Carolina. Reggie got a job working in Florida at a treatment facility for young kids. And Reggie got a call from some people that he graduated from the Teen Challenge program in Arizona, asking Reggie to go to Arkansas to help them start this
I'm
reentry
telling you,
program.
blessings come to get clean on it.
So Reggie called me and Steve on the phone and said, "Look, I got this job opportunity for y'all. Y'all want to go to Arkansas?" And we was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What we gonna be doing?" He said, "We need you and Steve to help start this reentry program with some guys that I graduated from the Teen Challenge program." I said, "Okay." So we went there, and we got there January 8th, 2016. 2016 was a very pivotal year for me. This is where my transformation came.
Y'all heard that? He said pivotal. Sometimes you got to pivot.
And so we went to Arkansas, and we discovered, even though it was 2016, racism still existed. So we lived in 5 different places in Arkansas, and the last place we went was a town called Plainview. And we went there because we had a facility there with mobile homes and stuff, and we had some people from this other program shipping kids to us from Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, and stuff, and they was shipping them to our facility. And me and Steve was working with these kids and stuff. I was teaching the curriculum. Steve was in charge of fundraising and booking fundraising and the kitchen and the budget. So we're working in this program, and we noticed when we got in the town of Plainview, them people was not happy with us being there. Me and Steve were the only 2 black people in that town. So we had to have a meeting. Our director had to have a meeting with the mayor of Plainview, the deputy sheriff of Plainview, the sheriff of Plainview, and all the people in the town of Plainview. They were posting stuff on Facebook and stuff, talking about us and calling us the N-word. And we would go into town to go to the store, and they would drop the change in our hand. They didn't want any type of close contact with us. And this is 2016. And what really did it for me, we went to church, and the pastor said, I want everybody to get up and shake your neighbor's hand. And I went up to shake people's hands, and they put their hands behind their back and walked away from us. So
Yeah, they act like that in some churches, y'all.
yeah,
Not in all of them, but in some of them.
and mind you, we were the only 2 black people in this town. So they didn't receive us at all. Nobody ever came up to us and asked us what our names was, what we was doing there. And the only people that cared anything about us was the lady that lived next door, because we lived at the end of the road. Our facility was at the end of the road. And at night, pickup trucks with Confederate flags would be driving to our facility, and they would just come and stop, and they would just leave, and the sheriff would come and stop in front of the house. Would never get out, would never say nothing to us or nothing. And I think what really saved us, we went on a lot of fundraising trips. So we was going all through Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Georgia, all the way to Florida. We was going to Kansas, all sorts of places. And I think because it was so inconsistent for them to pinpoint when we was going to be there, because we had a feeling that we was going to be attacked. So what ended up happening, they had a town hall meeting. They called a whole town hall meeting about us. And we were the top story on the WKRK news in Plainview, Arkansas.
WKRK, y'all wrong.
We were the top story
What
on
in
the
the
10 o'clock
world?
news. And before the camera crew started filming, the people in town, and we couldn't go to the town hall meeting. Our director,
My camera woman.
our director, and the man who was the overseer of all the programs, his name was Pastor Don. They told them, they said, if you don't get them out of here, we're gonna get you for bringing them here. Yeah, said we're gonna get you for bringing them here, and we're gonna get you. He was talking to our director. They said we know where you live, and we're gonna get you and your family, and we're gonna get them. They said we're gonna give you 2 weeks to get them NIGGERs out of here. So
in 2016.
this was 2016. This was May of 2016, and our director came back and he was like, "We got to get you guys out of here. We got to get you guys out of here." And we left. I think we left within the next 2 days, and we went back to Chicago. I went back to work at the candy company, but I didn't want to stay in Chicago. But I had a friend named Libby who was in the Salvation Army with us. It was a co-ed facility, so Libby was at the point of getting kicked out a couple of times. And I have to bring her up because she's the reason why I'm here, that I came to Seattle. And she said, "Keith, I'm in Seattle. Come to Seattle." She said, "Keith, I'm telling you, if you come to Seattle and you like helping people," she said, "you help me." Because I talked to her staff member a couple of times. She went out on pass and came back drunk, and her staff member was going to kick her out. So I was tight with the staff at the Salvation Army because I did a lot at the Salvation Army too. And I talked to a staff member, saved her from getting put out. And when she moved to Seattle, she kept calling me, especially when she found out that we was in Arkansas. She said, "Y'all better get out of them. People gonna kill y'all." And I said, "Libby, I do not want to go to Seattle because it rains every day, and I don't want to be nowhere where it rains every day." I said, "Seattle is out." So she kept calling. So it took that turn of events that happened in Arkansas. That was God's timing. He saved us long enough for us not to get lynched because they were going to get us. We know it. We know it without a shadow of a doubt. After that town hall meeting, we knew that it was a moment. It was a moment of time that a cocktail bomb was going to come in the house, or they were going to kick the door in and shoot us up with shotguns or whatever. And so I stayed in Chicago from May to July, and Libby came to Chicago for her class reunion. She said, "I'm going back to Seattle in 4 days." She said, either you're going to be on the plane with me or you stay here." So I thought about it. I said, "Well, I ain't got nothing else to do." So I came to Seattle. My second day off the airplane, well, when I got off the airplane and I went down the escalator, I heard a voice tell me, "Kiss the ground, because this is going to be your promised land."
Oh.
And I got on the ground in front of all the people coming down the escalator, and I kissed the ground. And Libby said, "What are you doing?" I said, "The voice told me to kiss the ground. This is going to be my promised land." And ever since I did that, I have not stopped moving yet since I've been in Seattle.
Praise God. He said the voice. I mean, you might want to get that. That's something right there.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Do some t-shirts for everybody.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And so I went and applied for jobs my first day, and my second day I went to a job interview, and I was on my way to another job interview, and in between going to interviews, I stopped at the 7-Eleven on 3rd and Marion in downtown Seattle to get a cup of coffee and a donut. And the manager walked up to me, and I had a
That's the same number again?
yes, right.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's
right
what I thought was
around.
on the.
Yeah, and the manager, she walked up to
This
me.
is my favorite 7-Eleven.
The manager walked up to me, and her name is Linda Scott. She was my angel. She walked up to me and she said, "You know what? You look really, really nice." I had a shirt and tie on and stuff, and she said, "You're not from here, are you?" And I said, "No." I said, "I just got it from Chicago." And she said, "What you doing?" I said, I'm on my way to a job interview. I'm trying to find a full-time job." She said, "I'm hiring." I said, "You are?" I said, "Well," I said, "Miss, I can't work for you." I said, I got to be honest with you. I said, "I have 52 retail theft arrests in my background, and I'm not supposed to get a job in any retail store in the country with my background." And she asked me, she said, "Well, do you think you can pass a background check?" I said, "Absolutely not." She said, "But I want you to work for me." I said,
Look at God.
I said, "I can't
Okay,
work
y'all.
for you." And I insisted, and I kept wondering why this lady kept looking at me, telling me that she wants me to work for her. I said, "Miss, I'm sorry, I can't work for you. I will not pass a background check." She said, "Well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do." She said, "Can you come back at 1:30 for an interview?" And at this time, I'm like, this lady is crazy. Well, she can't hear one. So I said, "I'm an entertainer." I said, "Yeah, I'll come back for the interview." I came back for the interview, and she had all my paperwork filled out. What the size of my uniform was going to be, how I wanted my check to come, and the 7-Eleven rules and guidelines. She said, "Just sign your name here, this is for this. Sign your name here, this is for this. And sign your name here, this is for this." She said, "I just called the corporate office when you left. I called the corporate office and I told them Keith Hedgepeth is going to be my new hire. And I'm going to train him myself personally." And the reason why she trained me personally, because in case my background came back dirty, she said, "I'm going to have you well trained to where you're going to be able to run this whole store. And if your background check comes back dirty, I'll give you a choice of 4 franchise stores of people who I know personally that own their own stores that I can direct you to if we can't hire you on the corporate level." I said, "You would do that for me?"
Y'all hear this? Now see, he was doubting. But this lady was placed there to bless him. Y'all get where this going now, right? Y'all see this? Because I want somebody to be encouraged that I don't care what your background is. When God want to bless you, you're going to be blessed. And can't nobody stop it. You can't even stop it because he couldn't stop her from hiring him.
No.
He couldn't stop her.
And literally when I started working, I'm like, why don't we just get this over with? Let the background check come back. Dude, you can't work. But I'm working, I get a check, I'm working, I get another check. And mind you, when I was working in Chicago, I was making $8.50 an hour working temp for a temp agency at Forever Pan Candy Company, the biggest candy company in the country. And when I came to Seattle and I got my first 7-Eleven check, she told me how much I was going to be making, but I was just so excited about I'm hired at a retail store. And I was so excited about the experience and working, and I had a good.
I was going to ask you, how did that make you feel, especially doing something that these people done told you that you would never be able to do?
Yeah. It was like I noticed God had done a lot for me, and like I said, my story had a lot of different dynamics, but it was like an experience, like every morning that I woke up to go to work, I was wondering if I was dreaming. And then when I seen that I was going to work and coming home and I'm going back to work the next day, and then like at my 4th week, she called me in the office and she said, "Keith, I want you to open the store. I want you to open the store and run the store till Doug comes in. He comes in. I want you to be here at 4, open the store at 5, and Doug will be in at 6. So you'll be running the store by yourself till Doug gets here." And she did like this and dropped some keys in my hand. I said, "What's this?" She said, "These are the keys to the store." She said, "This is the key to the front door. This is the key to the safe. This is the key to the cooler. This
Jeez,
here's
Lord.
the and so in my head, I'm like, I said, these are the keys to the safe. And I immediately got on the phone and called everybody in Chicago, and I took a picture of the keys, and I was like, and I'm like, and my friends was calling me. They said, they gave your ass the keys to the store. They gave you the keys to the safe. They crazy. But I didn't have. There was not a inch of intention of doing anything wrong
Right.
or taking anything. And I've never
You
taken
just felt good that
nothing.
somebody trusted you.
She gave me the keys to the
Okay.
store. I'm like, this is absolutely crazy. So I'm working. Then they're sending me out to do little special projects and sending me here and sending me there, and big time bosses is coming to visit our store because we had the #1 store in the Pacific Northwest region. We won awards for sales and cleanliness and all of that. So big time executives and stuff is coming to visit our store and do tours for our store, and they coming up to me and saying, "Oh, you must be Keith." And I'm like, "Yeah." And they shook my hand, and they like, "We heard a lot about you." And I'm like, "Wow." They're like, "You're gonna go real far in this corporation. We heard a lot about you. We heard you doing real good things." And before I know it, I was doing grand openings at stores. I was going to build stores. I worked at 9 stores from Tacoma all the way to Shoreline. I was training employees. When the corporation takes a store back from the franchise owners, they call us. We were the special team, and I was the head of our special team. That we would go and fix the stores back up, clean them back up, get them up into corporate running condition, and whatever employees that were going to be working at that store, I trained them, day shift and night shift, and I set the 7-Eleven standard record for attendance. I never missed a day. I never was late. I covered for people. Whenever they told me to go, I went. It, it was amazing. And when they would open up a new store in different cities in our region, they would call me to come and do the grand openings. They said, you're really good with people." And then they asked me to do uh, uh, advertisement for the 7-Eleven app. When the new 7-Eleven app came out, I was doing advertisements.
Oh, okay.
I'm the first Afro-American male to do all of this stuff. I was working in stores.
Yeah.
I was working in stores, and people would come in the store. They're like, "It's a black dude behind the counter running the store," because you don't see that. And they was like, "Wow, dude, how you get back there?" And I was like, "I work here, bro." And all of the stores that I worked at, I never got wrong.
Praise God. I was going, that was in my mind because you had done that so much. You know how to protect that store because it takes one to know one.
Well, I think what it was, I'm a people person, and I had a good rapport with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The only people I've ever had problems out of were people that cursed me out because I asked them for an ID to buy cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
They would cuss me out, take
Yeah,
pictures of me and stuff like that.
They
So,
say,
yeah.
They get ugly.
I'm gonna call the corporate office
Yeah.
and tell them on you. I've been coming to the store for 15 years and you're asking me for an ID and all that. But
you gotta ask them because you never know when they're gonna come in the store. I know I used to work for 7-Eleven. Yeah.
So
and I'm gonna call you.
7-Eleven was the thing that got my confidence.
Okay.
That got my confidence, which led me to meeting the CEO of Community Passageways, which is Dominique Davis. And I met him when he was with the 180 program, and I was volunteering with him with the 180 program, and I'm still working for the 7-Eleven Corporation, but I'm volunteering doing workshops on the weekends. And then when we started Community Passageways in late 2016. I was his first ambassador that sat at the table with him when we started Community Passageways. And he told me, he said that we was going to be working with kids, right? And I thought I was just going to be going in some schools and talking to some kids or something. He said, we're going to be in court and we're going to be working with kids with felonies and we're going to be doing this and we're going to be doing that. And I was like, yeah, how we going to be doing that? So he was taking me to detention. He was taking me to meet all the top people in King County, all the top brass in King County who ran King County. I was sitting in meetings with the head of the prosecutor's attorney's office, and we're pitching this idea on what Community Passageways is going to be doing with kids. And the next thing you know, I got my first court case. He said, Keith, this is family. My first case was a alleged sexual assault case of a kid at a school. So I said, so what am I supposed to do? He said, talk to the attorney, find out what his charges is, read the police report. I said, I can read the police report. He said, yeah, the attorney is going to give you, have you privy to all of that. So, and then go to the court, tell the judge that what you're going to be doing with this kid. So I met the mom, I met the parent, his mom, and I met him. I talked to him, got his court case, helped him get his court case settled. And I shadowed him and listened to the way that he spoke in court, because we have access to the bench. So it's the attorney, the defense attorney, us as a community partner, the prosecutor, and the kid. And before you know it, I had another case and another case, and I'm in court and I'm advocating for these kids. And before you know it, I'm having meetings with prosecuting attorneys, working out deals to better, because see, black and brown kids get the shaft in court. Black and brown people, period, get the shaft in court. So Community Passageways was invented. And I told Dominique, I said, this is a God-given program, because for me to be able to walk and approach a judge and speak on the behalf of a kid, and I'm not an attorney, and the judge and me hearing the judge say, you know what, I'm going to take Mr. Hedgepeth's recommendation. So we're going to give the kid EHM and give him a chance to work with you guys. And before you know it, I'm helping turn kids' lives around. And when they was going back up in court, they had jobs. They was back in school. They were graduating. They were going off to success. And before you know it, we created a system for community organizations to be able to go and be a strong voice in court on behalf of our kids.
Yeah.
And
instead of them going in there trying to fend for themselves.
But watch this. This has never been done anywhere in the country.
No, it has not.
Anywhere in the country.
I never heard of it.
And
I'd have been in support rooms.
Yeah.
As a child, teenager.
Yeah. I never had anybody from a community come.
I wish I could see them, because I got some people comment. I wish I could
represent me in the courtroom. No.
No. They might want to ask you questions.
No.
Will you take some questions at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all, if y'all got any questions, when we get ready to come to a close, we're gonna leave some time for y'all to ask some questions for Keith. Okay.
So
and on Facebook, if y'all got any.
So I ended up meeting a lot of people.
Excuse me, let me grab some water, y'all, real quick. Go ahead.
I ended up meeting a lot of people. I met Dr. Trupin for the University of Washington. I met Bob Bolshevitz, who's the head of Seattle University Law. We used to have healing circles, and we would invite all the people. We invited judges, prosecutors, attorneys, probation officers, people in the community, mothers, kids, grandparents, to come and sit in these healing circles. And our healing circles were so magical. I'm telling you, 60, 70 people sitting in a great big circle, and we provided food, and we give the kids a voice, we give the community a voice, and that established a bond, and it was like a transformational change of positivity from our program and what we was doing. And then all of these people found out about us and they wanted to meet us, and we were going doing speaking events, and Dominique would call me, Keith, I need you to get 10 kids and go to City Hall and speak at this meeting, and go here and go there. I literally, and at that time I was working at 7-Eleven from 10 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning. So my schedule was 10 o'clock at night, I go to work, I get off at 6, I go home, take a shower, eat breakfast, sleep for 1.5 to 2 hours, get up, meet Dominique downtown at King County Court, and me and him going all over the place, having meetings with people and speaking at places and doing all of this. And before you know it, Bob from Seattle University, he asked me to go and speak to his law students because they heard my story, and he wanted me to tell my story to his law students. And his law students at the end would ask me questions. I'm talking about great big auditoriums full of law students. And then Dr. Troopin wanted me to go to the University of Washington, and I'm speaking to this big old platform of law students, and then they would ask me questions because I've been in all three phases of the justice system, and a lot of them want to be defense attorneys and stuff. And they would ask me to give them advice on how to be an effective attorney and stuff like that, and I would. And,
The attorneys.
yeah, the future attorneys was asking
Wow.
me advice on how to be an effective attorney. So I just took my mess and I made it a miracle. And that's pretty much been my whole story, and that's why I have this big laundry list of stuff that I've been doing. And here's the most amazing part about it. I didn't ask for the job at 7-Eleven. I didn't ask to work for Community Passageways. I didn't ask to go to Seattle University and University of Washington. I didn't ask to go do all of these speaking again. I never went to anybody and say, hey, can I go and do this? Can I go? It was just Dominique. He had so much confidence because I was his first ambassador. So that's really special. And I helped him build the program to what it is right now. Right now, today, Community Passageways has 8 programs, and we cover all bases from family to shots fired to supporting people and relocating families. We have a street team. We have a resource team. We cover every base. If anything the community needs, we have a team that covers that. And now I'm working on this new CP Fit gun violence project because there are a lot of kids in Seattle, Washington, and the surrounding areas, Kent, Rain, Auburn, Federal Way, that are being affected by gun violence. Kids are getting shot at an alarming rate. So we're the people from Olympia, which is the capital of Washington, called Dominique and said, we got to do something about this gun violence thing. And so they got with Dr. Troopin in the University of Behavioral Sciences. We got together and said that we're going to start this program and we're going to fund you guys to do this. And now we're dealing right now with heavily gun gang involved kids, and we have a gang unit called Deep Dive that works with young men from 18 to 27, and Deep Dive pays their kids a $1,200 a month stipend to be in that program. And we pay our kids stipends for doing speaking events. Anything our kids do as far as speaking events and stuff, because we're showcased all over Washington State. So we pay our kids stipends because we're teaching the kids that you can do something useful and get paid for it. And that can lead you into getting a job and wanting to do something. And it makes the kids feel better about themselves, and it makes them feel that they want to do something positive. Now, some kids fall through the cracks, but I can say this: we do data. We do data and statistics every year of our successes and our failures or whatever. but we don't count feds as feds because just to get a kid in today's kid, I'm talking about after COVID, the kids of today compared to the kids that we worked with when we first started in 2016, it's way different now. We got 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds and young women out there shooting, gangs, all of this stuff. And the crazy part about it, these kids don't want to do it.
They don't want to be in the games.
They don't want to do that. But social media, other influence of peer pressure, single family homes, the dealing with police and racism and the way black and brown people are being treated opposed to white people. And we work with white kids too. And I've worked with more white kids than any of our ambassadors in our program. And the majority, and we have a very high success rate that is astronomical, and it's like unbelievable. Because you ever heard that that saying, well, if you can just sing one. We don't have that theory. We don't have that concept. We don't.
You don't want to say just.
We don't go by that concept.
Okay.
We want to say thousands. And for 6 years, I've worked with hundreds of kids, and I would say 68% of the kids that I've worked with have their own businesses now.
Praise God,
Are
68%. Y'all hear that?
are
68%. That's a lot.
They're working.
That's a good success rate.
Yeah, they're working. Some of them are married. We got kids that's flying airplanes. We got kids that we got out the dope house laying on the floor. We got kids that we got off the bus stop. They got their own business, working with millionaires. And we're steadily doing stuff to bring these successes to these kids. So that's why I do the work that I do. And I kept my promise, and I told God, I said, and every day that and don't get me wrong, I have days where my addiction flares up and tries to speak to me and tell me to go.
You wouldn't be in recovery. You wouldn't be clean if it didn't.
Look, the voice tell me, Keith, you work so hard. You work nights, you work days. You hardly don't get no sleep. Why don't you just go to a hotel and get you some drugs? Because see, that's what I'm used to doing. And I'm like, that wouldn't be a good idea. I would always say that, and then I would call my friend Steve on the phone. Steve is my accountability partner.
Okay.
And Steve is here with me from Chicago. He's from the Green Projects, and he's here, and he works in a building full of millionaires now. So we've been very blessed ever since we came to Seattle, and I've been blessed all my life. And I've been through a lot of perilous situations. Like I said, my story has a lot of different dynamics, and I'm gonna eventually write a book and do an audio book and stuff of my life story, because I don't want to do this for monetary gain. I want to do it because I want my life to mean something, and meaning something is I want people to look at my life and my story and say to themselves, if he can make it through all of that stuff that he made it through, I know I can make it. And I'm available. My phone number hasn't changed. And I get calls from some of my kids that are out of town. They call me still to this day. Hey Keith, I just want to thank you, bro. I'm doing good still. This and that. And I don't say no to nobody. And I get a lot of flack from that because people say that, like you don't take time for yourself, and you're doing too much and this and that. I said, well, if I did all of that stealing and all of that mess for 33 years of my life nonstop, what makes you think I'm gonna get to the positive side of life and stop?
You gotta go hard. As hard as
and
you
I go
is,
even harder.
Yep.
And I go even harder. So, it motivates me. It keeps me young. I'm 61 years old, and I'm an Olympic champion.
61, you don't look
I'm
61.
61 years old. I promise you.
Did y'all think he looked 61?
I'm
I
61
wish I could
years
see the
old
comments over
to
there.
this day. I got
What's his name? What's his name? I got to come with a joke real quick. What's his name? Bishop Joel Jones. You know who Bishop Joel Jones is?
no.
He got him a young wife.
Well,
Hey y'all, he got a young beautiful hot thing over here now. He getting ready to marry her, y'all. He's getting ready to marry her, and I know her. I know her very well.
I have a young spirit, and I think God let me keep my young spirit because He knew before I was born out of my mama's womb, He knew I would be in Seattle working with kids today.
Okay.
And that is a success for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I make good money and stuff, but and sometimes I think I don't make the money that I should, that I could use a little more or whatever. But I'm very grateful. I'm so.
Oh, you don't
grateful.
think that you make enough money?
No. Sometimes you know, it's when you do so much. Sometimes.
I don't think so. I don't think you done hit that capacity yet.
That,
I believe that the Lord, it's
Yeah.
a door gonna open. You know, like these people, their time is limited with you because you can really do your own thing with your own organization. Now you might partner with them people. Okay, this is the spirit of the Lord coming through right now, y'all. Uh-huh. Their time is limited. Their time is limited. Their time is limited with you. You know, you may partner with them, that'll be your choice, but you are getting ready to move on. Yeah, you're ready to pass the baton. Actually, God is passing the baton to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you may be passing it and you may be sharing it with this one right here because y'all a team.
Mm-hmm.
But what I see is you have your own. You know, you done been in the spot to where you done help people to build this stuff up. Now it's time to build your own. You know, and then God gonna He got some destiny helpers that gonna come along that you gonna hire too and train them and thus on and thus forth because he got some more stuff for you to do. But it's, you know, like you said, your promised land, and with your promised land, you don't work for nobody else. You don't work for nobody else in your promised land. You got your own. You got your own. He told you to kiss that for a reason. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I'm like I said, I'm grateful, and I know there's more to come for me. So I'm very consistent. You can set your watch
Said,
by
thus
me.
saith the Lord. Okay.
You can set your watch by me. I do the same thing every day, and just the fact that I can get up and see the sunlight, because the morning time is my favorite time of the day. When I can wake up and see daylight, knowing that I've been in a near-death situation, I've been in 5 Illinois state prisons and 3 max prisons. I've been in riots and stabbings and all kinds of stuff. And God always kept me blind to everything. And for me to get to where I'm at today, I'm eternally grateful. I'm eternally grateful. Whatever comes next, I'm just getting ready for it.
Wow. Y'all, this has been a wonderful treat. Let me tell y'all, I had a couple of more questions, but I feel like I don't need to ask the questions because of the conversation that we have had. You know, I don't feel like I need to ask these questions. Let me see. Maybe I can pull one up, you know. Okay, what do you think are the most pressing issues facing our youth today?
Well, there's a multiple things, but the top 4 that I can mention is our family structures have diminished.
Mhm.
There's no whole families. Um, we have social media. We have rappers and sports players
Mhm.
that paint a picture to our kids.
Oh, you mean like Pac-12?
Who that paint a picture to our kids. Um, and my hats off to all the single mothers that are out here that are taking care of kids by themselves and trying to work and stuff like that. But they don't have the energy and capacity to monitor their kids the way that they want to. And I think that's how come our program exists because we're the fathers. I've had parents call me and talk to me like I'm the baby dad. You need to come do something with this kid. You need to come over here right now. I'm like, hold it, miss. Hold it. I said, I'm the community person.
Don't even worry about it no more.
And,
Because I'm gonna just go ahead and use it for right now.
And but yeah, those are the things the most pressing issues. And plus, um, once kids make it to court, once kids get in the system, I got kids that I'm working on some murder cases right now that have been sitting in King County Jail for almost 3 years,
Mm.
and some of them haven't even got a court date yet.
Wow.
So those are the pressing issues we face, and we fight. We go to city council. We go and have meetings with all these people, but because of COVID, there's always fights and riots in the juvenile facilities and stuff, and a lot of employees they come and go. It's a revolving door, and you can't keep enough employees. And the attorneys' caseloads are so high they can't truly effectively fight court cases for our adults.
Mhm.
That's how come I'm on this committee for the Department of Public Defense. We're working right now with Washington State Supreme Court to get the caseloads down for the defense attorneys for Washington State. So, and we're gonna be going to the Washington State Supreme Court and pitching this, and I think I'm gonna be one of the speakers that's gonna address the Washington State Supreme Court
Ooh,
because I've
praise
been
God.
because I've been in all three phases of the justice system.
Mhm.
So and I think that's why they chose me because
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. So yeah. So that's what's pressing in our community right now.
Okay, one last question. Okay, so for any youths viewing this interview, what would you say to them? And don't look no more at me. I'm gonna move to the side so you can talk to that camera right there. The 3 cameras right there. For any youths viewing this interview, what would you say to them to keep in mind while being supported, mentored, and advocated by someone like-minded as yourself and in your field of work? Because every kid, it's like some of them feel like they don't have no help, no hope. So this man is letting y'all know, especially if you're in the Seattle, Washington area, let you know that you got somebody to help you. Y'all just reach out for the help. What would you say to them?
When I do the initial contact with the kids and their families, I get the kid, I pull the kid aside and I talk to the kid myself, and I give them a little brief history of my story and who I am, so that they can see that I'm on their level. And once they see that I'm in all three phases of the justice system and all of the stuff that I've done and how many times I've been locked up and shot and all of this other stuff, they can kind of like bond with me and understand that wow, this guy is just he was doing the same stuff that I'm doing. But this is what I tell them. I say, I'm gonna tell you this. Don't think that what happened to me won't happen to you and you're some unique person that it's not gonna happen to you. Because 9 times out of 10, if you keep doing what you're doing, and being out in the streets and not going to school and not listening to your parents or whoever's taking care of you and listening to people that's trying to invest in your life and get you to do just the simple basic things is be a kid. If you choose not to take that advice, you're going to have to go through the process. And trust and believe, I've been through the process from juvenile all the way to prison. And the process is nothing nice. And I also want you kids to know that if you listen to somebody like me and do as I say do, you're going to be successful. I'll never ask you to do nothing that's complicated. I'll never ask you to do anything that's going to hurt you or put you in a compromising or a dangerous position. Everything that I do is to help you to become successful at a young age. Because had I had somebody at 14 and 15 and 16-year-old like myself talking to me back when I was that age, there's no telling where I would be right now. I'd probably be running some corporate building somewhere or being a CEO of my own company. So it's not complicated. Listen to the people that's trying to invest in your life. And don't think because they're older than you that they don't know no better. That's what I would say to them.
Man, listen, my cup running over, y'all. I had to hold myself. Some of y'all that's up there, I see you, Kevin the Dearborn, baby. Hey, baby girl, love you. Listen, y'all, and Taran, I saw you up there. Who else was up there on Facebook? I just appreciate all my followers, all my subscribers. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I told y'all that I had a surprise for y'all. I meant to say I got a treat for y'all. But, yes, I hope that everyone that watch and those that are going to come back and watch the replay, I just pray that what he had to say touch. I know it is. I'm just going to give God the glory in advance. Thank you in advance, Lord, that it is touching the lives of some children out there and some adults to let you know that y'all heard it. Y'all heard it right here. This man right here, once he decided to take accountability and get his life right, to get clean, man, the blessings was coming. He could not stop that lady from hiring him. He didn't ask her. She asked him just from looking at him. And I'm telling you, God will bless you like that. But you can't be out here, like he was saying. You don't want to be held accountable for none of your actions, what you say and what you do and how you live your life. What you do is never just going to affect you. It's always going to affect the people that you are connected with. Your family, if you got a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, it's going to affect them. Your friends, anybody that love and care about you, it's always going to affect more than one. It could be your neighbor. You're affecting, like he said, he ruined a whole community. But he also building up multiple communities. See, it's hard as you in your dirt, you got to go even harder in your cleanness. Now, as hard as you are doing wrong, you got to be even harder in doing something right. Same way when before you get saved in your sinning, it's got to be 10 times more in your righteousness. Because it can never just be, you can't just, consistency really is the key. You keep on doing it. Keep on. Even if it's just a little bit. Just give it every day. Just do a little bit more. Every day. Get up. This is the thing that my mom and them taught us when we was little. As soon as we get out the bed, make the bed up. Because you got the first task. You done took care of the first task of making up the bed. Because if you make that bed up, it's going to be pretty hard to lay up in that bed all day. And I find that when I get sad and depressed, that's how I got to fight. I got to get up. Let me get up out this bed and get to moving. Get in that shower. Come on, let me do something. What can I do to help somebody else? Don't always just think about yourself. This man, he worked really hard at 7-Eleven to where the people was like, what is a black man doing behind there? It don't matter what your race and your color is. You can do it. You can do it. Y'all heard what he said. Y'all heard what he said. Okay, let me see if I got anybody got any questions. Let's see if we got any questions. Okay. I don't see any coming up right now. Y'all, he's open for questions. Hey Kim, I love you too. Anybody got any questions? Because if we don't get any questions, then we're gonna close this out. But like I said, my YouTube, y'all go follow me on YouTube. Be sure to like, and if you feel like somebody, one of the videos is something that would touch somebody's life and help them, share the video with them. Nicole Drakeford 7709 on YouTube. You can go up there. It'll be up there by 8 o'clock tomorrow evening for in my description of how to get in contact with him. I think we're gonna we're gonna leave an email.
Yeah.
Leave an email. Yeah, we're gonna leave an email address for you. Okay, so let's see. I don't see. Or does anybody want to join the live? Anybody want me to pull you on? Because I can do that too. And you can go live with us and ask them some questions. I don't see anything. Okay, so I don't see any questions, so we can go ahead and close it out. All right. And we'll see y'all another time. I love y'all, my loves. Thank you again. All right. Turn it off, Buddha. I was trying to see.